Hi, I'm Ian.
And I'm Jason.
And welcome to Ghosts and Bears, the podcast where we tell you the actual ghost story with the actual history in the actual place. This episode, it being Halloween and our 13th spookiest episode, we're actually going to do our house. So welcome to our home in View Royal, and we're going to tell you about the ghost in our house, View Royal. All right, here we go. How are you feeling?
Oh, not too bad. How about you, Ian?
I'm a little freaked out because it's the first time doing this with the cameras watching me, and usually we're in a darkened room where no one can see us and we can like be idiots, but not now.
Yeah, it's a little different having so many cameras looking at us.
But we're grateful for it, so thank you, Alex and Chris, for being here and doing this for us.
We're
awesome.
very grateful.
Yes, very grateful. We are kind of excited. We're I can't believe it's episode 13 already. Lucky 13. And it's been an exciting week. What have you been up to this week, Jason?
Oh, well, we had a vacation, so that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
It was certainly nice to get away. So our original plans were to go to the greater Los Angeles area and rent a car and head out to Yosemite. And we were thinking about Bryce Canyon, Zion National Park. But all that went to pot. The extension was granted for no travel, so I just was like, I was prudent.
Yeah, and then we
Cancel
talked
the flights.
about our Comox adventure we had last time, and so
Yes.
what did we do this time after that?
So we went off to Nelson.
Yeah.
Went to the Hume Hotel, so that
Very
will be
haunted.
a future episode.
Yeah, very cool hotel.
We came through Vernon, which was
Yeah.
beautiful. It was a nice sunny day. It was dry. It definitely felt like the
More like
definitely-
California.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
Desert. So we went through the Rockies and Slocan Valley and saw some wild turkeys, which is
That was a new one. Yeah, we were like, oh, maybe we should just hit one and take it home for Thanksgiving. Oh, right, we have Canadian Thanksgiving on the
Yes.
weekend. We're doing this.
yes.
And I know that's way earlier than American Thanksgiving, but that's because our winter comes sooner.
Yes.
I don't really know why.
Well,
but
in Syria it
it
does.
sounds good. So we saw the turkeys in the
Yeah.
Slocan Valley. That was awesome.
Yeah, so for all of our listeners south of the border, the best way to discuss Slocan Valley or paint a picture of it is it's very much like upstate New York, Vermont, I
Yeah.
would say around Burlington to Stowe, Vermont. And then we came into just an hour and a half later, all of a sudden we were in the desert. So it felt exactly like California.
BC's a pretty magical place.
Yeah, and we took a ferry. That was kind of cool.
The river ferry,
You
yeah,
just had to
that
go
was
across
awesome.
the
Yeah.
river.
Yeah.
And it was warm, so it was 24 degrees Celsius. So to our listeners down south, that's what, 80. I
I'm
think,
glad
around
you're
the
here to
80s.
do that kind of math because that's never going to work for me.
Yeah, so it was dry and
Yeah.
nice.
And then we had to go to work for like 2 days.
Yeah, so, well, 3 for me, 2 for
Well,
him.
Yeah. But what was I doing this morning, all morning, though?
Well, you were doing interviews.
Promotion for the new
So,
book that came out this week. So
that's
Vancouver's
right.
Most Haunted came out
Vancouver's
this
Most
week.
Haunted came out October 5th.
Yep. So I did a lot of talking, and now here I am doing.
More talking. Yeah, that's
so.
okay.
But we're thrilled we can do this for you, and we wanted to do something special.
Yeah.
And we thought there couldn't be more special than doing our own home, essentially.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about how long it's been? Because you bought the home a year before I showed up.
Yes.
And so it's been 5 years for you, 4 years for me. So talk about buying the home.
Yeah, so I took possession of this place February 2nd, 2016.
Possession. Interesting word.
Yeah, I didn't mean it that way. I guess. Interesting. So the home had really odd quirks. I mean, it was very dated. I bought it because of the fact it was dated. So we did a lot of renovations, huge projects over the last few years to bring it up to snuff. But
Windows, roof, outer siding, like
new flooring,
New
new
floors,
electrical,
new walls, new electrical.
new solar panels,
New bathrooms,
all
new
new
kitchen.
appliances. The whole 9 yards. This basically was a full gut job and redone. Actually, the other cool thing is we just had the back deck remediated, so it looks fantastic.
It does. Those stupid ants.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway.
I had carpenter ants in here. That was a bit of a shock.
Anyway,
Anyways,
the house. What year was it built?
this house was built in 1983.
1983.
So I
Good
wanted
year.
a house with good bones. I've heard some things about the more modern builds having some shifting issues and using frames that are a little bit premature wood. I mean, it's kiln dried, but so I'm like, I'll just go with an older one in a more established neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it was good. You know, there were some remnants left from the previous owners.
As there always is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting cul-de-sac. Let's just say that.
Well, yeah, and to put it in perspective, we are on top of a quite a high hill.
Mm-hmm.
It's solid rock all the way around us, so we're basically on top of a giant rock. We are in a cul-de-sac. There's sort of 5-6 other houses around us. We back onto the Galloping Goose Trail, which is the old railroad trail, old railroad tracks. Sorry. Now it's a walking, biking trail. But so basically, you go into our backyard and you walk about 20 feet to the fence, and then it's about 200 feet straight down. So we never have a problem with people cutting through the yard, which is nice. But it also kind of shoots off to the side. So it's a weird shaped lot, but it's quite a large lot.
Yes.
And the people who lived here before us, the older lady loved her gardening. So there's these massive terraced gardens that are now full of natural flowers.
Yes.
And the neighborhood kind of grew up around one house in particular. Do you want to talk about our friend who passed away, bless his heart?
Yes. That individual, he was interesting to say the least. Long story short, he basically owned the upper end of this entire cul-de-sac and a portion of the other one that's adjacent to us.
Yeah.
Down the hill to us, there are now townhouses that are completely built, but he owned that all as well.
Yeah.
So he had his mammoth house built overlooking the ocean on the other side. I face the green belt on this side. So the ocean is that way. Anyways,
we have a tree view rather than an ocean view.
Yeah, he was an oddball character. He passed away. We found out what disease did he have?
Oh, I don't remember. Some kind of heart problem, but he also had some undiagnosed mental health issues as well, which is really sad.
Which is sad. We found that out afterwards, but that explains a lot of the behaviors that he
always seemed to think he still owned
yes, he did.
all the land up here. So he would go into people's yards, help himself.
Take stuff. You'd be like, I had a ladder. I'm sure of it. And you would find it like stashed at his house sometimes. Like he was a hoarder as well. So that didn't help.
Oh, remember when he set the Mercedes on fire and blew it up in the cul-de-sac?
Oh, yes. I do remember that. I have the video of that.
Yeah. Yeah, the firefighters came and everything.
Yeah, I wasn't that happy. And the neighborhood kids were really upset. We have kids to the one side of us and kids just across the way that lived next to him.
I think it scared them.
Oh, yeah.
For
100%.
sure.
They were not happy about that.
So he was there for quite a while, and he did torment some neighbors more than others.
That's right.
In fact, one woman never left her house through her front door for the 11 years she lived here and he lived here. She would get in her car in her garage, lock the door, open the garage door, drive out, and then do the reverse. She never went in her yard because he was sort of fixated on her or something.
Well, I was told it was about 20 years she was basically hiding out in that house.
God, that poor woman. I can't imagine.
She's very sweet, but he had put dead animals in her yard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She just...
It wasn't good. The whole situation was really bad. So eventually he owed a lot of money on the house.
Yes.
And they came to collect and they booted him out and he got put in a hospital.
That's right.
And that's when they discovered all these things and then he passed away.
That's right.
But we were very strongly of the opinion that he was still hanging out in that house.
Yeah, we all agree.
In fact, we saw a couple of people coming to view the house. These two ladies, they went inside the house and they came out again. They went, "Oh, no, bad energy, bad." They knew right away. They
100%.
They were out of there. So it's been a very interesting kind of cul-de-sac. What happened? How did you find out there was something more going on here than just our crazy old man neighbor.
Well, going back to all the renos, I had gas put in because the main source of heat for this house was electric.
Right.
So I ran gas, and Fortis came on site to run the gas lines to the house. And that's when I found out this house is a portion of its yard is actually on an archaeological dig. Believe it or not.
Dun, dun.
So I wasn't happy about that because they said if they have to run the gas line in a certain way, they need an archaeologist on site.
Yeah.
So
They found a way to do it so that they could avoid the archaeological part, which is really good.
That's right. So I was a little surprised because that was the first time I found out about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is a huge triangle on the lot over on this side of the house.
Thankfully, it's mostly on our neighbor's property.
Yes, that's actually where they found the dig.
They did. They found a cave, and in the cave there were 6 bodies, First Nations bodies.
Yes.
And they then started to, of course, investigate, as you do when you find bodies in a cave in your backyard. And that's when they discovered this was all kind of a settlement. The whole area was really a settlement. That was more where they lived. And if you look at it, in your mind's eye, if you take away the houses, it was a brilliant place.
Yeah.
It was highly defensible. The harbor was right there.
That's right.
They could see anything coming. There was lots of salmon in the river this way.
Yeah.
So it was the perfect place to live. And apparently to die.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So they stuck around. Up here, and the last 6, I guess, were entombed up here, and then I guess settlers came and moved them off the land. So very interesting history to this land, and interesting history to this house in some ways because of it, which we are going to talk about when we get to our story time coming up next. So now we get to the good stuff.
Yes.
Now we get to the stories because we have both had experiences in this house together and separate.
And my mom has.
And your mom. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So you were here a year before I ever showed up. Did you ever experience anything in this house early on? Was there anything? Because a lot of times you hear ghost stories and they're like, oh, everything was fine when we started before the wall started to bleed. So, I just wondered if maybe everything was fine. And then
there was none of that happening here.
No wall bleeding?
No.
Well, that's a good thing. I think that would just be messy.
No, right above us is the master bedroom.
Yeah.
To put it into perspective, it's a mammoth master bedroom.
Yeah.
That's partially the reason why I fell in love with the house. It's about a 1/6 the size of the house.
Yeah.
So I wanted a nice kind of room to get away in. And it's an unusual house. It was built more for a professional, semi-wealthy couple. It's not designed for kids. I mean,
Kids,
it's so its layout and space is comfortable for hosting, and that's what I like. I like hosting, but not to put too fine a point on it. Anytime I was in the living room or in the dining room or in the second living room in the kitchen, you would usually hear noises upstairs wandering about.
Okay, so this is in your first year.
Then the first year.
Oh.
Yes. It was muffled though because it had carpet.
Right.
It's now all hardwood everywhere. So
yeah.
Once it was changed, as the reno started progressing, basically the disturbances got more frequent.
Well, yeah, part of that is renos. Ghosts hate renos.
Yeah, no doubt.
They don't like change. They get very upset about it. But also, I mean, but it hasn't been this way this time. We're doing some pretty major renos right now, and there hasn't really been anything going on.
Not a ton, no. And part of that is because of the fact that I did bring a priest in here.
Hold on, don't jump ahead.
I'm not jumping.
Slow it down, Sparky. All right,
but
so,
you did kind of allude to that.
Absolutely.
We'll talk more about that.
No, absolutely. Okay, so the first year, footsteps upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
You had cats here.
Yes.
Did the cats respond to those footsteps upstairs, or they pretty much ignored it?
They sort of ignored it in the first year.
Okay.
My poor dog passed early on in this house, so it was just the two boys.
Yeah.
They were pretty comfortable, I'd say.
Okay.
It was when we started doing more of the major stuff, the outside.
Yes.
That it started getting.
Yes, it did. The
different.
windows.
And there's some key articles that changed that really provoked it.
So what would you say was the first really big thing that happened that made you go, okay, something's really not right?
Okay, at the time I was living in the house by myself, 100%. There's a big
Without
fireplace.
pets, by the way. Without pets at the time.
No, the cats were here.
Oh, were they? Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because we had separated.
Yeah.
And the cats still remained with me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
The big fireplace had a huge grate. It had very large tools. Very fancy, but absolutely redundant because I put in a gas insert.
Right.
So the irony is having this big fancy grate, it just was actually blocking the heat. It wasn't radiating out like it should. So I tried to make the rest of the house look more modern. So those tools and that grate kind of looked out of place. So I stuck him out by the curb.
Yeah. Yeah. The weird old man will take him if no one else will.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to a good friend in Louisiana on the phone, laying on the couch, and the couch is basically across from the fireplace over here.
Yeah.
And
there's three lamps in the living room.
Yes, there are three. They're basically in the exact same spot that they were.
Yeah.
They just, well, as I was talking, it was about 9:30 at night. I just noticed a very heavy feeling on my chest, physically pushing me. And then that's when I stopped talking to my buddy Brock, and I started noticing the three lights were starting to go dim, but
they weren't. Yeah.
Not dim.
Yeah.
The thing was the circles of projected light on the ceilings were still bright, but the rest of the room was becoming dark.
I remember that. Yeah. You sent me pictures of it.
I did send you pictures. Yeah. Anyways, the two boys were at the top of the stairs staring down.
By boys, you mean cats, not children you keep in the attic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've never seen them do that. They were just staring at the top of the stairs into the living room. And would not
come down.
They won't come down. No. So that was quite unusual.
And you'd sent me pictures of that. And do you remember what I said to you? I said, "What did you do?
Yeah.
What change did you make?"
That's exactly what he did.
Because it seemed like something was really angry. Upset.
Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't feel even comfortable in the house.
And that's when you told me about the fireplace tools, the andirons. Yeah. And I said, you need to get them back.
Yeah, but they were already taken. So
you did, though. You managed it. You got them back.
Yes. I and my neighbor had picked them clean off the front of the car at the end of the driveway. Yeah. And I knew he was going to sell them for profit, but that's just what that person does. Anyways, I asked for them back.
Yeah.
Because of what you had suggested.
Oh, yeah.
So get them back. I didn't even feel comfortable in the house. No. So there's an entryway just across in the living room behind the chair. And I was just staring into the room, started taking pictures for Ian. And I showed him over the course of about 10 minutes sitting there. I showed him the picture of the boys just sitting at the top of the stairs, not coming down, not saying a thing.
Yeah.
And this room getting blacker.
Yeah.
Like this room became black, but you clearly saw the three lights were still on.
Yeah.
And you saw the projections onto the ceiling. But the last photograph that was really bizarre was you basically couldn't see the fireplace anymore.
It was really weird. And the other weird part was you sent me those pictures. They're gone. And
they are gone.
Google backs that crap up.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And they are just gone. We never saw them again. It was really, really weird.
Like as if they didn't exist.
Yeah. So that happened. Some of the other things that happened, I know when I was here by myself, I would often hear the footsteps above me. Mm-hmm. And it actually got to the point where I didn't feel 100% safe in the house in the open parts. Yeah. If Jay wasn't home or he was gone for work or whatever, I would spend my time in the TV room with the door closed, or I'd go in the bedroom and shut the door. But it wasn't even a conscious thing. It wasn't even like, oh, I feel unsafe, I'm going to hide in a room. It was just what I tended to do and not really understood why I was doing it. And so I would hear the footsteps upstairs. That was one thing. A general feeling of unease. For sure. Yeah. The other thing we found was we have a powder room on the main floor. And every once in a while, not all the time, but every once in a while, you'd walk in there and it smelled like someone had just had a cigarette.
That's right.
It was the weirdest thing. And you'd
None
go
of
in
us
there,
smoke.
you'd go, no, none of us smoke. No one smoked in this house for 20 years. And then I would go in there in an hour and it'd be like normal. The only other thing that did definitely make me go, okay, it's time to stop this. I was lying in bed reading. You were working. You were up north. I was in bed. I did not have a cat at the time. There was nobody else in the house, no animals, nothing. And I'm in bed and I'm reading. And all of a sudden I hear the hangers in the closet start banging together by themselves as if someone was just moving them very slightly. We
I've
do not
heard that
have
as well.
We do not have vents in there. You've heard it as well.
Oh, yeah, I have heard that as well.
Okay, so you never told me that. And I remember looking over at it and going, okay, and then realizing, what am I going to do? Leave? I'm not going to go sleep in the car. So I just ignored it and kept reading.
Well, that's why I kept closing those closet doors.
Oh, I always close the closet doors because monsters will get me. That's
No,
what,
yeah,
I mean,
no.
since I was 8, I believe that. And I haven't changed my mind on that one at all. It's been rough the last few weeks because we have no closet doors.
Basically have no closets.
We have no
So,
closet.
yeah, it's in construction just like everything else in this house ever since the beginning of time.
Okay, this is the last thing, though.
I think so.
I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, I hope.
So we both heard the hangers banging around in the closet.
Yes.
And kind of went, all right, well, that's what that is then. And then we both had smelled the smoke in the powder room.
Yes.
And we both heard the footsteps upstairs.
The footsteps, yeah.
And then I was gone for a while. And when I came back, and you did not tell me this,
No.
Jason had joined a choir for a while.
That's right.
And with a friend of ours. And in that choir, unbeknownst to me, there was a Catholic priest.
Correct.
And the weirdest thing, and if I ever doubted that I was sensitive to this stuff, I shouldn't after that experience.
No.
Because I came to the house after being away for a while. I walked in the door, literally just walked in the door, and I turned to you and I said, what did you do?
Yeah, he asked me what the energy shift was.
Humongous change in this place.
Yeah, I said I brought in a priest because of the incident with the room going dark. Really,
that was scary.
Shook my roots.
No,
like,
that was more than just
I ran
the
outside.
Yeah.
I just ran outside, and I felt guilty leaving the boys in the house because
boys, cats.
Yes, well, I called them the boys. They're the boys. Okay, so I let the boys.
I was scared to go, so I left my children in the house alone.
Yeah, well, the cats. I reference them as the boys. That's definitive article. The boys, right? Not a boys. Or,
anyway.
Yes. So
you brought the priest in because of the weird gray.
Yeah, because
that's weird. That is freaky and weird.
We did get the tools back, and we did get the fireplace grate back, and then for that evening it lightened up.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't come in the house for about 45 minutes.
No, I think that's a pretty strong sign that there's something pretty angry with you when that happens.
Well, it came from the neighbor next door. He suggested that the gentleman that did own this house before I bought it that died was not a pleasant individual.
Right,
I guess he just didn't like kids. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know much about the family that did sell the house.
Yeah.
All I know was it was the dad, the mother, and the son that lived here. But when I say son, he's older than me.
Yeah, he was a grown up. The mom was quite elderly.
Failure to launch sort of thing, right? I mean, mid 40s, late 40s, because I mean, our other neighbor that lived across the way, they partied all the time.
Yeah.
And
they
partied it like it was 1990s, right?
Yeah.
That's what I heard, anyways. Yeah. But it was. I was under the impression that this family, they love their gardening but dislike the kids.
Right.
So,
and if it was the old man's andirons, he was probably very attached to them.
Yes.
And I think that was part of it. Now the other thing is the energy that has come through here, not for a while now though, but that used to come through quite often and then go again. I think that 100% was the indigenous energy. And I don't think it had any interest in scaring us or freaking us out, or it was just sort of interested in what was going on.
I agree.
And I never felt threatened by that energy. And your mom, bless her heart. Jason's mom lives with us. She has her own suite out there. And she was looking after the house for us while we were gone. This was before we had the cat again. And she was in the living room and she is deaf. Like she never wears her hearing aids. She just talk really loudly at her. That's how we deal with that.
Basically shout.
Yeah, you just shout at her. But she was in the living room by herself doing some craft things, and all of a sudden she heard
she's heard it.
the footsteps up in the bedroom, and she actually went, "Oh, who's like, are the
Yeah,
guys back?" And
She
went
actually
up.
messaged us and she went up.
Yeah, she went up and she went into the bedroom, and of course there was nothing there. So in a way, it was kind of nice because it wasn't just
Oh, it's not us being
hearing it.
You know,
It was your mom heard it, and we hadn't told her because you don't tell an old woman, "Oh, by the way," you might get a little bit scared of something.
that would explain why our friend Michelle said she hears stuff downstairs.
Oh, in her house.
Yes,
Yeah, she said
because
that.
She's right.
On the same
Yeah,
patch of land.
that's right.
It is interesting. So I think there is that energy, not a nasty energy, not a bad energy. It's
No.
just an energy, and they're just hanging out because this is their land, right? They were here first. The dark energy, I think that got taken out by the priest
Yes,
because that's never come back. And I had a huge change to this house. I felt comfortable, and
Yeah.
I felt like I could be anywhere in the house and do whatever I wanted. And before, it was a very dark kind of right over you kind of feeling.
part of it was the old man across the way.
I agree with you.
I don't know if he was influenced in any way, shape, or form by
Like
it. But
something dark spiritually.
yeah,
It wouldn't surprise me.
You know, the stuff that they found when the bailiffs came to clean out the house, I kid you not, it took 7 days and teams to clear out that monstrous house across the way.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They ended up finding 2 hide rooms that
Secret rooms
that had stuff filled, and these rooms were half as big as this house.
Yeah.
So they uncovered
humongous.
these rooms to find endless more stuff, and that's when they called
They
it done.
quit. They
called
said,
it
"We're
done.
done. We're done. We're not doing this anymore."
Because but some of the stuff they found in there were like first edition, what are they called? Those the
Playboys?
cartoons. He did have some of those.
He had some of those.
You're not kidding.
Oh,
but
first
apparently,
edition comics.
yes, comics. But
Oh, yeah,
one of
yeah.
the Playboys or something that was there was valued at $40,000.
Yeah.
$40,000.
So he was a hoarder with taste.
Yes,
so
yes, he did.
That was good. But no, he was a very odd, sad, weird man. And I remember just the energy he gave off. Now that you bring it up, I remember getting out of the car one day, and his sort of modus operandi was he would come at you like you're his best friend.
Yes.
And people would start to trust him and talk to him, and then he would
Like a proper psychopath.
he would turn on you.
Yeah.
So I remember him coming up to me and going, "Hey, how are you? That's a nice." And I remember looking at him and going, "You have a good day," and just booted for the house because
you never liked him coming around.
he had a weird energy, and he got mad at us one time, and he dumped a bunch of pine cones and needles in the hot tub. Do you remember that? Taking the lid off the hot tub and going, "Oh my God, it looks like a stew." He got mad and came in the backyard and scooped them into the hot tub. Yeah, well, but that was the way it was.
Yeah,
so that was what it was like living with him around here, and in a way, maybe that dark energy was somehow connected.
It could be
to him.
Yeah, he might have been influenced by it.
Yeah.
He didn't trust anyone, which is sad.
He was a very sad man, ultimately. So you had the priest come in.
Yep.
The energy shifted. Since then, I think maybe I've had the cigarette smoke smell in the bathroom maybe
It's not much.
twice.
Yeah, it's
in the last 3 years.
I haven't smelled it much.
I have never heard the hangers moving around again.
I have recently, but that was before the demo.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't remember when,
I haven't heard it.
but that was it.
And I haven't heard any footsteps. Not for the longest time.
I haven't been around much. I've been working so much.
No,
I'm
but
not sure.
even then, I haven't heard them. And usually, no matter where you were in
That's
the
fair.
house.
Yeah. I would say because Mom hasn't complained about it either. So
no. And Randy, Mr. Randy Cat, he doesn't seem to react to anything going on in here.
But the activity in my experience certainly increases in the winter when the days are
okay. So we're
shorter
doing
and
this
the
for
nights-
Halloween, and now we're gonna piss something off. is what you're
Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully not.
I hope not. We have to live here. Damn it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a lot of work. This house.
It's been a lot of work, and it's been very interesting. And I think whatever was here, what energy is here, is still here. I think it approves. I think it's fine with it now. It's not a dark energy anymore.
No. I think when the fireplace stuff was going, that was probably when it got the most angry.
Yeah, I think so. So that is the story of the ghost in my house, View Royal Edition.
Yes.
We are happy to share that with you as our wonderful listeners, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have your own haunted house story, we would love to hear it. We're going to definitely do more of the Ghost in My House series.
Yeah.
And we would love to have yours to put in there. If it's a house thing, maybe we can do even a Zoom kind of recording.
That would
I
work.
learned how to do that today. So
Zoom
we
is
could do that.
handy.
Zoom is handy.
Like modern seances.
And
Can
the other
you
thing,
hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
are you there,
Are you
Mary?
there?
Can you see us? The other thing I was going to say was we had a follow-up. Remember we did the episode with Carlene and Evan in West Hills?
Yes.
Okay, so I got an Instagram message on our account, on our Ghosts and Bears account, from two women who live in West Hills, separate houses, and they have both had paranormal activity going on in their home.
It doesn't surprise
And
me.
again, brand new homes, brand new suburb, and they've been having
Yeah, but think about
paranormal-
it.
Oh, I know.
They destroy that.
I know.
Everything
I
up there
know.
is just knock it down and build. Knock it down and build.
But Evan was saying, I mean, he's had issues, and then his buddy had issues,
Mm-hmm.
and now we've got these two women. That's 4 separate houses.
Oh, I'm not
having,
surprised.
and I bet if he started talking about it, more people would come forward
These are
too.
traditional territories of the Lekwungen, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. So
So-
who knows where they're built on?
I don't. Yeah.
So these wonderful ladies heard the podcast. They got very excited about contributing, and I said, "Hey, please write it down. And if it's you've got some good stuff going on, we'll come talk to you because that'd make a great follow-up episode."
I agree.
So there you go. That's part of our whole mandate is coming to you to get your stories, and we would love to do that. So if you're living in a house where things are weird and spooky, what's that line from Ghostbusters? Call us. We'll believe you. I don't know.
No, it's not that at all.
No, I know. Whatever.
Who are you gonna call?
Well, no, I know that part, but
Well.
yeah. Okay, so we're gonna come back with thanks to all of our Buy Me a Coffee people.
Yes,
and,
thank you very much for supporting
yeah,
us.
and we will come back and wind her up.
We get better and better equipment.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like this fantastic pop filter you now have.
Oh yeah, there was a famous person who sang
Oh,
with this mic.
God, I've heard this 19 times. Just talk about who used your mic.
Oh, it was Madonna. She
Oh,
sang with
Madonna.
it in Rain.
Great. Are you done now? You got it out of your
Maybe,
system?
I don't know.
We'll see
my
how many
dad
times you
actually got
mention
me
it.
this mic. Actually, early 90s.
Was
as
he
I
friends
recall.
with Madonna?
No, but that would make sense because Rain, that song is from the 90s. So
Okay. And your dad was heavily influenced by pop culture?
No.
No.
no. This mic was for my recording for playing trumpet. It's
Okay.
altogether different.
There you go. That's why it looks so cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
All right. So we'll be back right after the break. All right. Well, I am feeling a little bit creeped out in our own house now that we have recorded
I'm
this.
sure it's okay.
You sure it's okay? You
Yeah,
promise?
pretty sure.
Can we sleep with the light on?
No.
Oh, man. It's gonna
No,
be
I
a
like
long
it
day.
pitch black now.
Yeah, you like a pitch black there. We want to thank everybody who's been supporting us. I
Yes.
mean, we would not have made it to Halloween without you. And we are very grateful for that.
What are you saying?
Well, we wouldn't have made it. I mean, as a show, not as human beings.
we wouldn't have
We would have survived, I think, as humans. But I mean, as a show, we're still hanging in there.
Yeah.
And we're gaining listeners. I
Yes,
mean,
we're very grateful
we're
to
in the-
all our listeners.
we're in the hundreds of dozens now.
hundreds of dozens.
Yeah, I made that up.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's going really well, and that's thanks to you recommending us to other people, writing those iTunes reviews, anything like that is a huge help because
Yes, thank you
that gets
very
other
much.
ears on us. We're going to talk about our Buy Me a Coffee, but Jason's going to read our Buy Me a Coffee friends who are our members, and we're going to just talk about that, about what it is, and you do the names, and I'll talk about what it is.
Well, we want to say a big thank you to these people: Liz, David, Carolyn, Greg, at Haunted History 2, Spandex Guy, Catherine, Penn, Jules, Charlie, Sasquatch Mafia, Michelle, Jordan, Sandy, Kyle, Rebecca, Leslie, Melinda, Brianna, Maury, Steve, Christy, Tori, Sarah, Tammy, and Arwen. have a happy Halloween to all of you.
Yeah, and thank you especially to our friends who are doing that.
Thank you.
And if you want to become one of our Buy Me a Coffee heroes, there's some ways to do that. At our $3 level, you're going to get the honor of supporting us on a monthly basis.
$3.
I'm laughing so hard. No, I mean, you're going to be supporting us, and literally every bit helps.
It does help.
And you're going to get a shout out from us for being a member. For our next level, we called that one Pet the Bears. You don't actually get to touch us for money. That was probably a really poorly labeled tier. But you're supporting us. You get a shout out, and you get the behind the scenes pictures, which a lot of times are taken either by you or by Alex and Chris. So you're going to get some good pictures. There will be no behind the scenes pictures on this episode because we are literally in the scenes.
Yes.
Like there's just nothing to see behind. And we're thrilled about that. So we're going to do that for you. So you get the behind the scenes pictures and get to see more of what we're doing. The next level is Ghost Bear Member of the Sacred Cave. And at that level, you're going to get everything, the behind the scenes pictures. You're also going to get invited to our group Zoom call once a month, or as we call it, the Modern Seance. And we've had a couple of those, and it's been really good.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been really good. In fact, the whole reason we're doing this for this episode is because one of our members on the Zoom call said, "Have you recorded the Halloween episode yet?" And I said no. And she said, "Why don't you do this?"
So here we are.
Giving it a try. Thank you for the suggestion, because I probably wouldn't have thought of it, because the last thing I want to do is be on a camera. So thanks for that. Our next level is going to be the Bear Appreciation Club. And on that level, you get all of the top stuff, the behind the scenes, the group Zoom call, and you get a one-on-one chat with us. We will hang out with you for a half an hour. You can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
You can ask us questions about ghosts or whatever, and we are happy to do that. So that's actually a lot of fun to do. And at our top level, our $20 per month level, that is the bear worship level. And you're going to get everything I described, as well as after 3 months, you get a signed copy of both the books. The Victoria book I will sign, the Vancouver book, both Jason and I will sign, because Jason did all the pictures. So you're going to get that after 3 months. Don't try and weasel out of it. And also, we're going to send you your own sort of portfolio of high-quality photos from both the books. So that's what you get at the top tier. If you have some suggestions of things you'd like to see, like if you're like, well, only if they offered this, then I'd be a supporter.
Let us know.
Let us know. Tell me. I'm not psychic. I don't know. You need to let me know so I can do it.
We don't do that.
No, we don't do that.
No.
So yeah, no, that'd be great. If you're interested, please let me know. We do. That's true. We have glow up lighting things, so obviously we're somewhat psychic. But we also have the option on Buy Me a Coffee is you can just buy one copy. You can just buy us a copy.
Yes.
And we're always grateful for that as well.
100%.
So thank you for that. We are going to wrap it up with just talking a little bit about the Redbubble store. There's all those options for clothing.
Yeah, that's
we
fun.
got some more feedback from a fan this week.
Yes,
a young lady who we would not have thought of this. She said, "I want to buy one of your shirts so bad.
Yes,
but as a woman, I can't." And I'm like, oh my God, are we selling sexist clothing? And she goes, "The logo is too low.
Too low.
So all you're going to get is boobs and ghosts." And I'm like, okay, wouldn't have thought of that. So for the ladies in the crowd, we are going to move the logo up. And thank you for that. Because again,
who would have thought?
How would we know?
We wouldn't know.
We would not know.
So I guess this logo would be higher.
Yeah, this logo a little more up here.
Yeah.
So that's a great feedback. So do check out the Redbubble store. Most of this stuff, you're either going to be able to get to it just by going redbubble.com/ghosts and bears, or the easiest way to do it really is to go to ghostsandbears.com, and that's going to have all the links for support, for merchandise, for listening to the show, pretty much anything. Seeing all of our lovely pictures, including Chris and Alex, and of course Randy, who's really the boss of the whole thing.
He's regretfully not with us this evening.
He had important business to attend to.
He did.
I think he's at a benefit function.
Probably.
For blind children. I think that's where Randy is. I saw him in his tux as he was leaving, so I can only assume
he went.
He wasn't off to his usual haunts. So yeah, we've got the Redbubble store going on.
Mm-hmm.
We are excited. I heard from our friend at the Vineyard this week, and she would really
Yes,
like to
that's
follow up
right.
with
Yeah,
talking about
Oliver.
a December event and having some kind of cool
That'll be fun.
thing. She said, "Oh, I'd like to have you out in the fall for Halloween, but harvest it gets really busy in the Vineyard." And
Makes sense.
and I said, "Well, the traditional time for ghost stories in the olden days was Christmas time. That was when people gathered around the fire and it was the darkest, and that's where we got like the Christmas Carol from. That's why it's a ghost story, and we could totally lean into that and go to the
100%.
Vineyard, and oh my god, it'd be amazing. So
Maybe have some wine.
maybe I don't know if they have any. So yeah, we'll do that as well. Other than that, though, I think we've covered off everything we were going to talk about. Can
I
you
believe
think of
so.
anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well then,
Were we talking about the next episode?
thank you.
Yes.
Oh, you're so good. Our next episode is going to be another one from the Ghost Walks. I've got a wonderful story for you about a hotel that is currently called the Bedford Regency, and it's quite a reasonably priced place to stay in downtown Victoria. I'm just kidding. I don't work for them. But it was a pretty sleazy hotel at one point. One of the worst in the city.
Yeah.
And I've got a great story about two unfortunate characters with very strong sense who
That's
were
right.
involved in that one. So we're going to talk that one next time. Again, it's one of my recorded on the Ghost Walks, so kind of a man on the street story. But it's a good one, and it's one of my favorites to tell. It's a lot of fun. It also
It
appears
is
in the
fun.
book Victoria's Most Haunted.
Yes, it does.
It does, yeah. There you go.
Amongst others.
Amongst others. And yeah, do remember Vancouver's Most Haunted came out this week, so
That's right.
grab your copy. Yeah. What? Well,
3 days ago.
yeah, recording this early. This is going to
Although,
drop.
ironically enough, apparently it was on Amazon.
I know.
Before that, I don't know how that was
What
possible.
is that about? So there's supposed to be the book release dates, right? You can pre-order the book on Amazon,
Yeah.
and it will not get sent to
And
you.
apparently it was just sent
She
anyways.
sends me a picture on like the 30th of
Yes.
September. She's like, "Look, I got the book." I'm like, "Holy crap!"
30th September.
Oh well, well, whatever. I don't care. I'm glad you got it. The sooner you get the book, the sooner you can leave me a sparkling review.
We were grateful.
We are grateful.
I hope you like the photos.
Yes, the photos were great. You did a good job. Jason was under a lot of pressure for those photos. We kind of left
We did
everything
it
to
in-
the last minute,
we
and
did it
Jason
one
got
night.
Jason got all the photos for the book in one night. We drove like crazy people.
We drove 320 kilometers. And for those who live in the States, that's 200 miles.
Yeah, just around the city.
200 miles
On the plus side,
in one night.
you were taking pictures for a ghost book, so night shots were actually preferable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
was exhausted.
It worked. It was a very rough weekend. Yes. So I hope you like the pictures from that book. You'll get to see those, of course, in the book as well. Other than that, we will be back in 2 weeks with the Smelly Ghost episode.
Yeah.
I will not have a nice song for you like Phoebe from Friends with Smelly Cat. It's just not going to happen, but it does make me think of it. So again, thanks again for joining us. Have a fantastic week or day or night or whenever you happen to be listening to this.
And a happy Halloween.
A happy Halloween. And remember, when you're wandering around and you're thinking about ghosts, we've got the actual ghost stories with the actual histoy in the actual place. And we hope one day that place
Is
will
with
be
you.
with you. That's right. Thank you so much, you guys. Take
you,
care.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.